In a perfect world, we would all be living free of fear from saying anything that could be used to defame or even incriminate us. However, the problem with that is it assumes that everyone and everybody would meet a minimum level of agreement and understanding, which will not and never be the case. This leads to the need to be able to only communicate certain things with certain individuals, which is a concept as old as human language itself, a concept we call privacy. Back in the old days, long before we ever had things such as a global network we call the internet, this was a relatively easy to achieve task. One could simply meet with another individual in private and discuss whatever needed to be said, but the only inherent problem to this method is that anybody close enough with good enough hearing could eavesdrop on your conversation. The solution to this problem were messengers. Messengers allowed you to write a letter and give it to a trusted person to deliver it to said person or group, be able to be read silently, given that the other person can indeed read. But the problem with that is that a messenger can simply open the letter and read it for himself, using the information for whatever nefarious and malicious purpose he seeks. To combat this, we developed ciphers, which allowed for writing a letter by swapping characters in place of others in order to make it seem like an incoherent line of gibberish. It started out with the Caesar cipher, a simple mechanism which simply offset the letters of the alphabet by a degree. A, B, C, D would become E, F, G, H with an offset of 4+, which would quickly become cracked and lead to the need for more sophisticated ciphers, which over the years eventually led to the creation of the Enigma machine, a great feat of engineering on the behalf of a horrible anti-Semitic country. The Enigma cipher was both a cipher and system, which was a nearly uncrackable code to the Allies of World War II. With the help of Alan Turing, amongst many others, the system was eventually cracked, and the arms race of cryptography accelerated at a rate never seen before. Today, the game itself has not changed. It has only become much harder. Today we have telephones to communicate over vast distances as if we were in the same room. We have instant messengers and email to act as a digital mailman to send and receive messages instantly, and we have encryption methods to secure not just communications but all data. And with that brings me to the point of this video. You should be at the very minimum be using Signal. Most of the people in the world either use SMS/MMS, RCS, iMessage, or WhatsApp. SMS/MMS is a very simple protocol, but it is very insecure. Your provider, the government, and any bad actor capable of SIM hijacking can see your SMS or MMS messages, and the latter can even send messages in your name. RCS, iMessage, and WhatsApp are a step above with encryption, and since they use data, they bypass your provider and make it harder for nefarious parties to hijack your communications, but they still aren't foolproof though. The companies can still see what you write, what pictures you send, and anything in between, which means that the government can too. Not only this, even with companies like Apple with iMessage who say they don't comply with the government's request for information, the government doesn't need their cooperation. They can simply use the software that they have specifically developed to backdoor these various messaging services. Things here seem pretty grim. How am I supposed to escape surveillance in this digital world? Well, my friends, I have a solution. Signal is a free and open source messaging application with end-to-end encryption built for privacy advocates. It stores no logs, and it is audited by the real-world use of journalists, activists, domestic abuse victims, fugitives from totalitarian regimes, escapees from human trafficking, and regular people like you and me. The source code is audited by serious independent security professionals from around the world. Every line of code is heavily scrutinized as to make sure that absolute privacy is guaranteed. Hopefully I've sold you on Signal solely based on that, but that's not the only reason to use Signal. Signal is a multi-platform messenger. Now, to be frank, you do have to have a phone number to use Signal, but your phone number is not used in any of the communication protocols and is only for verification purposes. Personally, I do think it is a bit more information than necessary, but there are forks of Signal that do not even require this, such as Session. That being said though, we are trying to get the normies on board, and this is still very private. Being multi-platform though, this allows you to have Signal installed on all of your devices with the same account, be it Android, Linux, iOS, Mac, Windows, BSD. It is functionally the same everywhere. Signal is also not just a messenger. Traditional calling is fundamentally insecure, and although video calling methods are more secure as they are typically only offered by companies such as Apple and Facebook, they are still subject to the very same flaws as their messaging applications. Signal offers both call and video functionality, and in addition to those two, Signal also functions as a light social media platform, with stories that you can post from your account, which is something I don't really use myself. It supports all of the features that you would expect from other messengers, but with the focus of added security. This includes, but are not limited to, screen security, view once media, forwarding, chat archival, delete upon view messages, file sharing, which is not limited to just media, and many more. Now, to be clear, you do have to put some trust in the Signal when you use their service, but considering that there have been no arrests made using information obtained directly from Signal, due to the fact that the only information they store is your phone number, and independent audits made by security professionals, it is definitely a safe choice and the one that you should make at the very least. Ending this video off, I have this to say. To those of you who say you have nothing to hide, let me ask you this. Do you let strangers into your home and let them rifle through your belongings? Do you let your mailman open your packages and read your mail? How would you feel about that? Everybody has something to hide, and everybody has the right to privacy. Download Signal today, spread the message to your friends and family, and live without the fear that your communications in OPSEC could lead to your ruin.